Have you ever wondered why we love to play Monopoly? Among the many reasons, the most important one is that it is a simulation game where you can test out multiple financial strategies and see the outcome right away. Sometimes it pays to be aggressive and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you are elated that you did not buy because of the unlucky event that your cards would reveal. But it wouldn't affect you because there was nothing for you to lose in the first place. The reason I'm bringing Monopoly in this final section of the book, chapter on accounts and finance, is to tie all the knots. While games like Monopoly and the equivalent cash flow game by Robert Kiyosaki based on Rich Dad Poor Dad are fun and are helpful in training us about the various financial behaviors we can exhibit and the consequences that they have. They failed to connect all the dots. In this chapter, this is what I did. Let me illustrate using another analogy. The computers and the smartphones that we are using are based on 6 layers of programming language. Whenever you type something on your word processor or play a video game, you must understand that you are affecting the 6th layer, which in turn affects the 5th, which in turn affects the 4th, which in turn affects the 3rd, 2nd, and the 1st. Nothing happens until first layer is affected. Computer science has evolved dramatically to this 6th stage of codeless programming. The first layer is the binary language. It's the language of 0 and 1 that causes the voltage in the circuit to be either on or off. On top of that, the engineers of past built the machine language. Here you don't need to type the code in binary form and instead can use some basic words like move, add, subtract, but even that is cumbersome. So the third layer was developed called the assembly language. This one is still more human type of code, but still not there. That's where the fourth layer of programming comes, called the high-level languages. They consist of C++, Python, Java. Now this language is almost human, but it's still very technical. So on top of that, the engineers built the 5th layer called the scripting languages, which don't require so much technical knowledge as in the high-level languages. Examples are Visual Basics and the various macros. Then finally we arrive at the 6th layer that we are so used to when we write formulas on Excel and so on. However, the reason I'm taking this detour to the world of programming is not to give an exposition on the history of computer science. Instead, it is to tell you what you have achieved by reading this far. While the Monopoly was like the 6th layer of programming, and accounting as it is being taught in school, colleges, and universities is at the level 1 of programming, students as well as professionals were totally lost. While influences like Robert Kiyosaki Dave Ramsey, Morgan Housel, Ramit Sethi were talking at the level 6 of finance and accounts. The teachers and professors were teaching level 1 accounts and finance by focusing on the journal entries and debit credit rules. After understanding the concept of the financial body, you are now able to connect the level 6 with level 1. Now you can say that you know the effect of buying or selling a house on your 3 principles of finance: financial reports, trial balance, journal entries, and source documents. Coincidentally, it also makes 6 layers, like in the programming analogy, although it was not intended. What the 6 layers of programming has enabled laymen like you and me to do, the concept of the financial body will enable us to do something equivalent. In the computer world, we can now make a website without actually making a code. Similarly, using the financial body concept and the 6 levels of accounts and finance we just outlined, we can make the correct strategic financial decisions. In this way, can play the real monopoly. With the explosive rise of AI, which represents the 7th layer of programming, by the way, which is also called the intent-based programming, because just by stating what you want, the program, using its pattern recognition and synthesizing capacity, can guess accurately what we want to achieve. And this is exactly how both students and professionals of accounts and financing can use the subject as it was meant to be. Using this 7th layer of programming, I have prepared the 6 diagrams below. They are nothing more than the Monopoly game on steroids. I prepared them by training Gemini AI with various frameworks of mine. Then all I had to do was to tell the AI my intent in the prompt, and it produced those simulations. The fascinating thing is that you can replicate the same tables by training the AI using this very chapter, upload it in the chatbot, and write a prompt to tell it to learn from the frameworks in this book. Ask it to produce the financial and accounting effect of your planned financial strategy or decisions. Then it will produce your own personalized monopoly level type of outcome. Isn't that beautiful? So let me explain to you the diagrams. The first 2 are about the individuals and the other 4 are about the corporates. They all follow the similar structure, so if you know one, you will be able to understand the others. The first diagram represents the simulation of a person who has chosen a financial strategy that we have called as financial independence, retire early, or FIRE. What I wanted to know is how would my future look like if I took up this strategy. It's enough to say your future will be good for many, but as a student of account and professional financier, you'd want more. So I told the Gemini AI to produce the effect of my decision on the financial body, and it showed this whole sets of tables. The first one shows the three balance sheet, profit and loss, and cash flow statements. They are shown in the first column. Then the second column shows their values of the various headings in year 0, which is the current one. The third column shows what happens in year 1 after the FIRE strategy begins. Then in the fourth column, it shows what happens in year 20, then in the year 30 in the next column. So the first effect is on the assets. We start with 0 cash in year 0. Then you can look at the salary row. It shows that this person is earning 100K. His expense is 80K. So his net income is 20K, and thus he has a net positive cash flow of 20K. Now, because he's using the FIRE strategy in the year 1, he invests the 50K from his income into a diversified portfolio. Consequently, he has to reduce his daily living from 80K to 50K. So it's very aggressive. You can see that it has an effect in the cash outflow of investing. Consequently, the net cash flow is 0. Now in the year 20, because of the cumulating effect and the fact that he's so aggressively saving and investing 50K every year, and also all his interest, which is around 7% annual return in average, it becomes around 2 million. That's huge, right? And this strategy still allows me or this person earn my 100K because I'm still working, or he's still working. My living expense is still very down to earth despite my increased net worth. In the year 30, my total investment portfolio comes out to be around 4.5 million. That's a lot. I'm set for life. And as you can see, the income from the various investment leads to a total revenue of $286,310. So if I follow this FIRE strategy, I'll be set for life, but I will have to live below my means all the time, as you can see by the daily expense of 50K throughout until year 30. Now, the effect on the 3 principles of finance are shown in the next table. The TVM, which is here calculated as a ratio of revenue divided by expenses, significantly grows over the years because of the compounding effect, reaching the highest possible at +10 in year 30, starting from +2 in year 0. The RRT, which is here calculated by the ratio of asset divided by liabilities, is always 10. It's the highest possible use of the assets, mainly because there are no liabilities, no loans is being taken, everything is being invested from what is being earned. The cash flow, which is the ratio of inflows divided by the outflow, is 0, meaning it could have been in the negative, but it's not. What it's telling is in this strategy, I would have to always invest every single dime I have, so I won't have much cash available. That said, I could sell my stocks in case of emergency. In this way, you have understood the format of how AI presented the outcome of financial strategies. The second diagram is the same format and tells what would happen if I chose the rich dad poor dad strategy instead of a FIRE strategy. To take a look at the investment assets, which is the core driver of this whole diagram. So the same person earning 100K a month throughout because of his job. They have a similar lifestyle of living below the means. As you can see, they are decreasing their expense from 80K to 50K and maintaining it until the very end. The difference here is that in year one, if I follow this strategy, just as an example, I would be investing 220K funded from my salary and a loan of 120K. So that will also lead to some investment repayment of 15K, but I will also get a passive income of 24K right away. Now, if I continue this strategy for the coming years, then in year 20, I would have repaid all my loans and bought more companies. Then with the high RRT, my investment portfolio could be worth 6 million around. I would have a net income of 187K. But again, my cash flow would be zero because I'd have to invest everything back into the businesses. Then in year 30, if I continue the same strategy, my investment portfolio will be worth 14 million. That means I would have a total revenue of 421,760, which is huge. In terms of the three financial principles, here the TVM is excellent, as you can see, plus 10 by year 30. The RRT is excellent, plus 10 all throughout. And like in the FIRE strategy, I'll always be short of cash because it's all invested. And so the CA has zero scoring, but it could be negative, which is not. In the rich dad poor dad strategy, if in case of emergency I need cash, then I would have to rely on what we have discussed earlier as a trade credit or using the account receivables, payables, and delaying payment. Otherwise, this is a great strategy if you want to be rich. And you have seen the effect on the financial body. So in both cases, financial body has very less fat, which could be equated to liquid cash, and lots of muscle. The FIRE strategy has got a financial body with lean, tight muscles, while the rich dad poor dad strategy has got a financial body which is super muscular, like a bodybuilder. Next, let's turn to the simulation for companies. The format is the same, except that when we are dealing with companies, we can't think of 30 years, let alone 10 years. Too many things would have changed by then. So that is why in the company simulation, I provided simulations for year 0, year 1, year 2, and year 5. The first diagram shows the cost strategy for a company. So the company starts with 100K in year 0. When in year 1, it just retains earnings of 55K. Year 3, it retains 103K, and year 5, it retains 233K. As you can see, the revenue increases very conservatively from 100K to 120K in the second year to 150K in the third year. So we have a very cost-conscious company, and you can see the effect on the various headings of the balance sheet and P&L and cash flow. Now the effect of the cost strategy on the three principles is shown here. The TVM is showing a score of 6 throughout, which is very good because the revenues are always 2 times more than the expense, which is very good. Then the RRT decreases over the years, but it's not bad because the assets are increasing, and the capital allocation also has 10 at the beginning, but later on it goes to 7, and it's not bad also. It's just that the cash inflow exceeds the outflows. So this company is healthy, and if everything goes fine, it will survive the long game. The second company follows a differentiation strategy. Let's see how it makes use of its retained earnings. Is 68k in year 1, 110k in year 2, and 250k in year 5. And because it's using a differentiation strategy, you can see that it is increasing expenses in the baseline operating expenses, R&D and product development, and marketing and advertising, which is different than the cost strategy, which didn't have these new expenses. And that's the beauty of this simulation. It shows you exactly what's going on inside the company. The effect on the three principles is shown in the table next to it. They're all above 5 in the 6 and 7 range. So in the 5 years, the company is healthy. Again, it's a very conservative approach, but not as much as the cost strategy. The third company follows the merger and acquisition strategy. As you can see, the biggest difference is the addition of the goodwill in year 1, where it increases by 1 million because of the goodwill from the acquired companies, and then it's taking an acquisition loan of 1 million to buy new companies. This causes 50k loan interest in payment, and of course it affects the cash flow, where we have to give cash out of 1 million to buy the company. As you can see in the revenue row, because of this acquisition, the revenue is dramatically higher of 500,000. Then in year 2, 650k, and year 5, 800k, which wouldn't have been possible without the merger and acquisition. Also, you can see that the net worth of the company increases much more than in the earlier strategies. And because of the large acquisition, there is a positive net cash flow. Then you can see the effect on the three principles. The TVM is good, medium, in the range of 5, but the RRT is negative 5, mainly because of the loan being taken and the high volatility, and the capital allocation is high because of the high cash inflow. Again, the beauty of the 7th layer of programming, or intent-based programming, or artificial intelligence, is that you can produce a diagram like the one below, which shows the comparison of the various financial analysis of the 3 business strategies on the normal situation and on the various economic scenarios. As I told you, this is Monopoly on steroids. This is just one prompt and a set of parameters I've given the AI. It was designed for this book, but if I had to make a final strategy as a CEO for the various companies, I could do thousands of simulations and come with the most likely strategy to succeed. So let's take a look at the diagram. The first box shows comparison of the 3 strategies in terms of initial investment, net worth, profits, and net cash flow in year 0, year 1, year 2, and year 5. The same box, the second table, shows the effect on the three principles in the same time periods. As you can see, the cost strategy and differentiation strategy show similar figures, but the M&A strategy shows dramatic increase in all the various headings. However, it comes with very low RRT, as you can see in the table below. Second box, the most interesting one. Just told the AI how would the strategies be impacted on the various economic scenarios like recession and inflation. And this is what it produced. This is intent-based programming at the best. As you can see, under the recession, as opposed to in the planned scenario, all the figures go down. For example, we are all talking in the year 5 here for simplicity. The planned, the cost strategy, net worth was 400k, but after recession it was 300k, which is less. And in case of inflation, it's even lower, 280k. In the differentiation strategy, the net worth is 350k, but in the recession it's 220k. But in inflation, it's a bit more favorable, 290k. In an NMA strategy, in normal situation, the net worth is 500k. In recession is 320k, and in inflation is 420k. You'd ask why so? Well, because in the inflation, the products or services can be sold at a higher rate. But the positive side, as you can see in the second table, is on the RRT of the merger and acquisition strategy, which becomes positive with almost 8 during the inflation period. This is mainly because of the fluctuation in interest rates. We come to the end of this chapter. Now you know everything about the financial body and how to use AI to study and to practice accounting and finance. As I was talking about programming, I want to leave you the inspirational note. The knowledge from this chapter, you are no more just an accountant or a financial expert. You are a financial consultant, a doctor, that you already know. But what I want to add in this section is that you are like a top IT programmer. Everybody wants to go into IT because there's so much you can do. Imagine if the computers still needed to be programmed in the first layer of language, that is the binary language. Would programming and IT be as popular, cool, and in demand as it is now? No, it wouldn't. It is the addition of layers, and by now we are on the 7th layer, that made IT professionals so versatile. Somehow, the field of accounting and financing didn't evolve like IT did. However, with the rise of AI in the last few years, integration of all the parts of the financial body is possible, and I've shown that it works in this chapter of my book. So don't go into the accounts class and finance class thinking you signed up for less than an IT professional just because you couldn't study science. You chose management and business stream, but you can still be as hot, versatile, on demand as programmers working for Google or Facebook. You have the knowledge from this book, and AI is already on your palm top. Now nothing is stopping you from loving the subject of content financing.